Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Warm welcome to all the panel members and shareholders on the 39th Annual General Meeting of Deccan Gold Mines Limited. I now hand over the proceedings to the chairman. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, shareholders. I am Kailasam, Chairman of the Board of Deccan Gold Mines Limited. Today is Thursday, September 28, 2023, and the time is 11:31 a.m. At the outset, I welcome all of you to the 39th Annual General Meeting of Deccan Gold Mines Limited. This meeting is being held through video conference in accordance with the circular issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and Securities and Exchange Board of India. Before we start the main proceedings of the meeting, let me introduce my colleagues who are here. Mr. Dr. Hanuma Prasad, Managing Director, Subramaniam, the Executive Director and Company Secretary, and Karunakaran, CFO of the company. I also welcome the other directors, Govind Saman, Andrew Weeks, and Ms. Deepthi, who have also joined the meeting from other locations. I confirm that the statutory auditor and the secretarial auditor are present for the meeting through video conferencing, and I welcome them to the meeting. We have a requisite quorum present through video conference to conduct the proceedings of this meeting. Participation of members through video conference is being reckoned for the purpose of quorum as per the circulars issued by MCA and Section 103 of the Companies Act 2013. The quorum being present, I call this meeting to order. I now request Mr. Subramaniam to provide general instruction to the members regarding participation in the meeting. Over to Company Secretary.
Good morning, everyone. Members may note that this annual general meeting is being held through video conferencing in accordance with the Companies Act 2013 and circulars issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and Securities. Facility for joining this meeting through video conference or other audio visual means has been made available for the members on a first come first served basis. The register of directors and key managerial personnel and their shareholding, the register of contracts or arrangements has been made available electronically for inspection by the members during the AGM. As the AGM is being held through video conference, the facility for appointment of proxies by the members is not applicable, and hence the proxy register for inspection is not available. The company has received requests from a few members to register them as speakers at the meeting. Accordingly, the floor will be open for those members to ask questions or express their views. The moderator will facilitate the session once the floor is open for questions. It may be noted that the company reserves the right to limit the number of members asking questions depending on the availability of time at the AGM. The company has provided the facility to cast votes electronically on all resolutions set forth in the notice. Members who have not cast their vote yet electronically and who are participating in this meeting will have an opportunity to cast their votes during the meeting through the e-voting system provided by Link in Time. Members are requested to refer to the instructions provided in the notice or appearing on the video conference page for seamless participation through video conference. In case members have faced any difficulty, they may reach out on the helpline numbers. Thank you, and over to the chairman.
Thank you, Subramaniam. I now request you to provide a summary of the auditor's report.
Yes, the statutory auditors and the secretarial auditors have expressed unqualified opinion on the respective audit report for the financial year 2022-23. There are no qualifications, observations, or adverse comments on financial statements and matters which have any material bearing on the functioning of the company. The statutory auditors report on standalone financial statements and consolidated financial statements are available from page numbers 50 to 59 and from pages 85 to 91 of the annual report respectively. Further, secretarial audit report is enclosed as Annexure 5 to the board's report from page numbers 21 to 23 of the annual report. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Subramaniam. As the notice is already circulated to all the members, with the consent of members, I take the notice convening the meeting as read. We now come to the formal proceeding of the meeting. The board of directors have appointed Mr. Himamshu Kavdar, S.S. Reddy Associates, Practicing Company Secretary, Mumbai, as the scrutinizer for the e-voting process. Further, I hereby authorize the company secretary to declare the results of the voting and place the results on the website of the company at the earliest. The resolutions, as set forth in the notice, shall be deemed to be passed today, subject to receipt of the requisite number of votes. Further, the combined results of remote e-voting and electronic voting at the venue, along with the scrutinizer's report, shall be communicated to BS. The results shall also be placed on the websites of the company and linked in time. The result of the poll shall be displayed at least 3 days on the notice board of the company at its registered office and will be placed on the company's website. Also, the scrutinizer's report will be placed on the website of the company, www.deccangoldmines.com, and on service provider's website, www.linkintime.co.in, within 48 hours from the conclusion of the AGM. We now take up the resolutions as set forth in the notice. Remember that we are not taking hand vote here, so I will just read out the resolution. Item number 1, adoption of accounts standalone as well as consolidated for the financial year ended March 31st, 2023, together with the board's report and auditor's reports thereon. Item number 2 of the notice, the reappointment of Mr. Subramaniam S., who retires by rotation and being eligible offers himself for reappointment. Item number 3, appointment of statutory auditors. Item number 4, revision in the remuneration of managing director. The text of the resolution has been provided in the notice circulated to the members. All the items of today's AGM have now been transacted. Thank you for attending the meeting. I now request Hanuma Prasad, Managing Director, to make his presentation to the shareholders. Over to Mr. Hanuma Prasad.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And good morning to all the board members and the shareholders. Again, it's my pleasure to come back to you and explain what we have done in the last 1 year and what we plan to do in the next 1 year as well. So I have just put it as a small presentation, like I have always been doing in the last 2-3 AGMs. Let's go through it. And before going into that, I'm very happy with the development, the things that have happened over the last 1 year and the developments, mostly the positive developments that have happened in the company in the last 1 year, the last 2 years in a way. And we are looking forward for a much bigger growth in the next year, that is 2024. So in a summary, if we see what we have done, we completed the acquisition of 40% stake in Geo Mysore. As you all know that it is a granted mining lease where mining development is going on, and very likely next year they are going to produce gold, which will be the first private gold mine in this country during the post-independence. So 40% stake has been acquired in that company. And second, we have acquired 60% stake in the Altintor gold project in Kyrgyzstan, which is again an operating mine, but it requires expansion, which we are planning to do. So effectively that has become our subsidiary now. And we also acquired 32% of stake in the Kalabala gold project, which is fairly advanced gold project, where a feasibility study is required, which we will be doing next 1 or 2 years. Apart from that, Deccan also participated in the auctions. That's the way the mining leases or the prospecting licenses are granted in this country now. Deccan participated in one of the auctions and acquired a block, that is a nickel copper PG block in Chhattisgarh. This also signifies another thing, that we have now diversified from gold into other metals, and particularly the future metals like nickel, platinum, which are going to be used for the battery making. And I think that is the future in the mining industry. So we have made our strides into that segment as well. The other important thing is we have established a consultancy division in Dubai. I would like to brief a bit more when I come to that slide about this consultancy division and what are the plans that we have with that consultancy division. So that has been done. And we also raised about 100 crores through debt, equity and warrants. Half of the money has already come in, and another half probably in the next 1 year it will come into the company. And so with all these developments, the 2023 is actually, we set to achieve the stability and sustainable growth. That is what, if you remember the last AGM, that's what we discussed. I think we have achieved that target. And now we look forward for the 2024, and I'm very confident in 2024 hopefully by the time of next stage, Deccan will be a gold producing company, I think, which is a big landmark in the development of this company. Next one, please. So if I present the report card of the management, the acquisition of stake, that's what we wanted to do. We did that. Acquisition of overseas projects, yes, it's a thumbs up. And also we acquired mineral blocks through auction. We did that. And establishing a consultancy division, we just completed that. Fundraising to some extent, yes, 100 crores we have raised. And the Ganajur license, that is one thing. I see there is a bit of a positive development in this as well, though I don't claim that it's going to come, though it hasn't come to us so far. But there is a positive development, which I will explain also during the course of my presentation. So overall, the report card looks, at least in our opinion, ultimately shareholders have to decide. The report card looks pretty good, and we hope we'll next time when I come back, we'll have the similar kind of report card as well. So based on all these developments that have happened in the last 1 year, there is a significant appreciation in the share price and the market cap. As of today, the company's market cap is more than 1,000 crores, which is, I think, is a big development compared to where we were in 2021. From almost 200 crores, we have come to more than 1,000 crores company. And more importantly, we brought new shareholders into the company. That is big names like Gira Group in India. I think most of you know about that company. And also Medid from Dubai and Alliance Gold from London. So most of these new shareholders have joined the growth story of Deccan. And from now onwards, the target would be to at least have 4 operating gold mines in the next 5 to 6 years. And I'm sure if we achieve that, the market cap will substantially increase and making Deccan as one of the global resource company, at least a mid-tier global resource company. Next one, please. So now if you see the portfolio of Deccan and you just compare with the portfolio that we had about a couple of years back, now we have a Jonagiri project, which is going to be an operating mine. Though on a pilot scale, we are producing gold at this point in time, but by next year it will be fully commercial operation. And then we have Ganajur and Hatti licenses, on which unfortunately we are still fighting. And then Tanzania prospecting licenses, we have that 100% with us. And then Kyrgyzstan, Altintor gold project, 60% we got, and there is an option to go up to 70%, which we will do. And in Finland, 32%, 31 point odd. We have already acquired through share swap, and we have an option to go up to 51% by doing the further investments. And Bharutkona Jamni, the nickel project, which is we acquired through the auction. So with all this big portfolio that we have developed in the last 1 to 2 years, Deccan has grown into a multi-project, multi-commodity entity and diversified into various countries so that our jurisdictional risk has significantly come down. If you all very well remember that one of the issues that we face, all our eggs are in one basket, that is in India, and we have been struggling quite a bit. But now we are into various jurisdictions, various commodities. I think that is how a big resource companies grow all over the globe. And so I firmly believe this is the beginning of a global entity. If not in the next 3 or 4 years, if it is not going to be a global entity, I'll be really surprised. Next slide. So if you see now on the global map, this is how we look like, and these are the resources. I don't want to dwell into all those numbers. Anyway, this presentation will be available to you. But the key things that needs to be looked at is Jonagiri gold project, where we have about 10 to 12 tons of gold already proved, and then Altintor, about 6 tons of gold is proved. So these two will probably start generating revenue next year. And then we have Kalawala gold project where feasibility is done. Down the line, maybe in the 2 to 3 years, this will come into the production. And then we have other assets like nickel copper PG in Chhattisgarh and also the Tanzanian assets, which are in the exploration stage. And we have plans to do exploration next year. I think by the time next time I come back for the next AGM, we'll have a better idea and the potential of these two projects. So that is the sequence. Of course, the biggies like Ganajur and Hatti, if you can get through this legal tangle, probably they will add significant value to us. one thing we need to notice that even these two prime projects are in the code, we are still able to develop into a multi-commodity company. I think shareholders would appreciate that. Next one. So these are the resources that are available in each and every project. So if you look at it, now we are very close to becoming a million ounce in our kitty. Of course, the bulk of it is coming from Jonagiri and also Ganajur. Then we have already proven resources in Altintor and in Hatti. And Kalavala project, we still need to prove it, but the estimated resource there is again around 6 to 7 tons, which we will prove in the next 1 to 2 years. So this would look like, hopefully by end of next year, a million ounces company, and it has a revenue stream by the end of next year. Next one. So I will quickly run through some of the projects and give you an update what is happening with those projects. The first one is the Jonagiri gold mine that is in Andhra Pradesh. It's a granted mining lease with all permits in place. And last time, I think I have been showing through various social platforms also, there is a pilot scale gold production that is going on. About 40 tons of ore every day is being processed through a small gravity circuit. But the plan is to build a larger plant. Towards that end, about 200 acres of land has already been acquired as we speak. I think very soon we will complete 250 acres of land. And this is something very significant because as a private entity without any support from government agencies, we are able to negotiate with the farmers. We are able to acquire this kind of land. It shows our commitment and also it shows our capability and the community relations that we have. And that is very, very important. The social licensing is very important in this country to run these projects. I think this acquisition of land shows where we are. The entire population there backing us. And a large processing plant construction is going on in a very fast pace. I will show some videos of what is happening there. And long lead equipment in the processing plant. Obviously, there are 2-3 like ball mills, elution systems, crushers. Once you place the order, it will take 5 to 6 months or even 8 months to get those equipment. So it is always prudent to place the orders first and then start the civil and structural construction. I am happy to say that long lead equipment has already been ordered and contracts for water pipeline and power line are finalized. And as far as the mining is concerned, again I will show some of the pit and the videos. We have reached to a stage of 800 tons per day. So we are now capable of mining the maximum. That means the infrastructure required, that includes the trucks, the excavators, all are in place, and we have reached maximum in that place, in that one. And as you all know, the Jonagiri is an open pit mining operation, and it is a very simple metallurgy. And I also wish to add, the pilot plant has clearly shown whatever the recovery that we have been anticipating based on the test work, we have either got it or sometimes it is 10% more than what we have anticipated. So going by that, our revenue flow, the Jonagiri project's revenue flow is going to be very strong, and over the next 8 to 10 years, it will give a lot of dividends to us. Next one. So can you play a couple of those videos? Yeah. Some of you might have seen these videos which were in the social. This is the open pit that's been developed. Now we are already into third bench. The whole is being stacked in horse complex. These are the horse complex. These are the go into the, you can see almost first where the pond is first bit. You can see the gold dust around that. Here, the high grade it will be around gold every month. That is what it is one of the photographs. See the picture of it. So this operation is going on. We show another video, which is the absolute. As of yesterday, while I was inside, there is a civil work that is going on. The entire layout of the project you can see. It is. Please bear with us. We are opening that file. Here. This is the latest one as of yesterday. So you can see the pit on one side, and that is the where the truck is standing. That is one of the roads going into the processing plant. That's a pilot plant, and you can see a lot of civil work that will be happening on the site. You can see the compound wall that is being built, and now the crushing, milling, all the circuits, the civil work is already on, and this is the main access road from outside into the site. And all those heaps that we are seeing, that the excavations for the way processing equipment like crushers, milling, elution system, all that is going to come. And as of today, there are about 100 people who are working on the site, and another 40 or 50 are going to join. The fabrication work will commence before the end of this month. So sometime back, if you remember, I have put some, gave some targets how this work is going to progress. I think we are well within those targets. If everything goes well, by next year, by this time, the Jonagiri will have the full-scale commercial production coming out of this plant. Next one. Yeah, this is the same pictures of the ball mill. This is from the pilot plant. This video you have already seen, that the smelter on the other side. And this is the actual pilot plant area. You can see the number of trucks, the excavators which are already in place. Because of that, we are able to get to 800 tons per day. That's the kind of mining that we are doing now. Next. Yeah. This is the ore dump. You can see. These are some of the pictures. Next. And finally, when we construct the processing plant, which we are building, this is how it's going to look like. We'll have a crushing and milling circuits within those, and then you have water treatment facilities, you have the CIL tanks, administrative buildings, elution system, and gold room. All that will be done in this. All these designs have been finalized, and that is where the civil work is going on now. So let's hope by next year this project comes into complete fruition, and we will be producing around 750 kilos of gold on annual basis. Next one, please. So we'll move to the next project, that is Arkintor Gold Project in Kyrgyzstan. This is located in Tingshan district in Narin province. It's on the eastern side, and gold mineralization is hosted in the quartz, carbonate veins. They are all high-grade veins. And there is the free milling type of gold with very high gravity recovery. So there is a mine that's operating there, and the total resource in this mine is around 6.5 tons. That includes the ore left in the mine and the tailings and the low-grade stockpiles. So what we are planning to do is the Evelyn partners, in which we have taken 60% stake, they are working on the basis of revenue sharing, and Deccan acquired 60% of it, and we are planning to establish 300,000 tons. That means 1,000 tons per day of the leaching plant. As I said, there is only gravity plant that is working now, and this, once we put the leaching plant, the revenues would increase like anything. So the main reason why we took this plant with this project is that we will be able to establish the leaching plant and make the maximum revenue out of this. Next one, please. So these are some of the pictures. On the right side, you can see there is a water pipeline that has been just completed, mine on the top, and there is a processing plant with all the Nelson concentrators, and the big mills. They are all 50 tons per day kind of big mills that are present in the site. in the processing plant. We will be expanding this processing plant. That is the idea. Next one. And we are in the process of getting the required clearances for the leaching method. Leaching plant designs have already been completed. If you know, Deccan has entered into an agreement with a Dubai-based company about a few months back, which has a capability to build this kind of leaching plants. So they have completed all the designs, and now next week again our team is going there to do the site inspection, and then civil work should start very soon. And we are planning to complete the leaching section by third quarter of 2024. So the full scale commercial production by the fourth quarter of 2024. Apart from the existing resource, there is a possibility of enhancing the resource. You can see the cross sections on the right hand side in the corner. The ore bodies extend down below, and we are going to drill and then increase the resource potential. So we will exploit the underground potential as well once the open pit mine is completed. So again, we are looking this project as 8 to 10 years and beyond that as well. But more importantly, we will get into the production next year. That is a full-scale commercial production, which will enhance the overall value of this project. Next one. And this is the Finland project. It is an advanced stage exploration project. It is in Finland, which is this very safe jurisdiction. And geologically, this is one of the best areas. It is in Archean terrain, and it's like our Archean greenstone belts, be in Karnataka or Andhra. So this is a similar kind of geology we have. And Kalevala Gold has 4 applications, which includes a mining lease application, which is being pushed forward now. Deccan has acquired around 32% into this, and we have rights to go up to 51% by investing money, which we will be doing now. And Geological Survey of Finland and Kalevala itself, they have done multiple drilling campaigns. You can see the drill results. They are very high grade intersections on the right hand side. You can see them, and some gold has already been produced from one of the high grade quartz veins. Obviously, our idea is not to go and do the small scale mining. Our plan is to enhance the resource base to at least 200,000 ounces through next phase of drilling and feasibility, and then plan for a proper mining activity here. Next one. So these are some of the high grade areas which have been excavated, and they have been used to produce the doré bar. You can see the doré bar that is produced from this, and there you can see one of our geologists who have been doing the field work there. So that is, I am confident that with systematic exploration, we are going to have a much bigger resource in this space. So this is the third project, and the fourth one is our own licenses in Tanzania. As you know, we have acquired 5 PL blocks in the Lake Victoria Goldfield. 4 are in, again, Zega Gold Greenstone Belt. And DGML, last year we did some work on the ground, but then we have realized it requires a different kind of geochemical and magnetic surveys. So that we are planning this year we will be able to do. That is a part of the target generation. We are building a team. There are already 2-3 people have been identified, and about $250,000. The money that we have raised recently, part of it is going into it, and also the geophysical surveys. Hopefully we will be able to do, because we are going to buy magnetometers and drones. That is part of our consultancy division in Dubai. So we have a program now for this, and I think in the next 2 months our team will be on the ground to explore and generate the targets. So I am really looking forward to develop these areas. They are, of course, the greenfield targets, which will take time, but they will be part of our asset base over the next 5 to 6 years. Next one. So the other one is the nickel PGE block in Chhattisgarh. It's called Bhalukona Jamnidi block, and this is again Archean greenstone belt. That is where you find big nickel PGE deposits, and it's a potential to host nickel copper PGE deposits. Generally, these deposits, nickel PGE, occur along with the significant credits of copper as well. And sulfide bearing mafic, ultramafic intrusive rocks with anomalous nickel, platinum, and palladium values have already been identified. Deccan has won 30 square kilometers block through auction, which is a very large area. That's what we have shown there. And we are in the process of completing the documentation to start further exploration. I think this year we will be on the ground to do the exploration. Next one. And already some amount of exploration has been carried out in this block. About 400 meters long and 50-meter wide potential zone has been identified. And if you look at the numbers, it yielded more than a gram per ton of palladium, platinum, 0.16% of nickel. And most importantly, they are all locked in sulfides, which is a very, very important factor. And the 6 trenches have been made. This is all done by Geological Survey of India. About 400 meters long mineralized zone has been identified. So now we are very close to do the geophysics and drilling in this particular block. In my opinion, this is one of the very potential blocks in this country, and that's why we have put in application. And yes, we have promised a good amount of premium to the government, but nickel, PGE are the future metals, particularly going into the battery, and copper is always a kind of metal used for the industry. So these metals would add to our portfolio, which is now diversified from gold into other metals. So that clearly shows our intent of not just sticking to the gold, but into the precious metals and the future green metals as well. That we have made it as a policy to move into those kind of metals. Next one. So the last bit in all this is the consultancy. Last year also, I did discuss about setting up the consultancy, which we have done now. We have opened a company in Dubai Free Zone. It's called Deccan Gold Free Zone Company, that's in Dubai. And we are building a separate team. And what we are doing is we are buying the geophysical equipment, including the drones. So it will be a drone-based geophysical surveys that we will be doing. And there are several opportunities for this kind of work exist in Africa and CIS, where the terrain is difficult. You need to do some amount of aerial geophysics, and we will be catering to that. And we are targeting mainly gold, lithium, RE, and other commodities. And I wish to add one more point here. These kind of consultants work, it is not just to generate some revenue. Yes, it is always good to have some revenue, but the idea that we have is, and we have been talking to our clients, that it's not just a revenue, but they should give us the future options to acquire the stake in these projects. So what would happen is we move into those projects knowing fully well about the quality of the projects, and if we have to acquire them, and we will acquire them, and for the future, these consultancy projects could be a springboard for future acquisitions in these countries. And we have already signed a contract in Kyrgyzstan and also in Africa. And for the acquisition of this drones and magnetometers, we have budgeted around $100,000, which we'll be spending in a month or two. And there are a couple of parties who are interested to take equity in the Dubai company also, which I would come back once it is done. They have expressed their interest. So that would generate, I mean, it will be a self-sustaining model and looking for the projects, particularly lithium, RE and other commodities in Africa. I think beyond 28, 29 or 2030, these are the projects which will run Deccan into the next decade. So with that mindset, we have set up this company. And as being a small company, I think we have a small to medium scale company now. We have this option of doing multiple things, and we should take opportunity and do these things. So it will add a significant value after 5-6 years to us. And in the meantime, we'll build the teams, we'll have an experienced people, and we will also be earning some revenue, and it will be a self-sustaining business. So that's the idea. So now it is all set. I think from next month onwards, October onwards, we have our teams going to work in Africa and other CIS countries also. So these are the developments I would like to take you. And last but not least, I think most of you are keen to know what's happening with the Ganajur, but it is still very close to all our heart. And this is the project which we always wanted to have in our portfolio. As you all know, Deccan Gold, Deccan Exploration Services has filed writ petitions before the Honorable High Court of Karnataka with regard to its Ganajur ML and Hatti PL blocks. The High Court has adjourned the petitions pending the decision of Honorable Supreme Court's decision on Indocell case, and D is well implemented in the Indosil case. So we are now a party along with Indosil in that particular case. So on the May 20, based on, so the next date, the tentatively listed for hearing on 17th of October, we shall wait for it. But more importantly, recently Supreme Court pronounced a judgment in Chiranjeev Lal's case, that is in West Bengal. I think many of the shareholders are aware of it. That is that application for which the grant of mining lease is being court has directed the government is a amendment. This application was made prior to 2015 amendment to the MMDR Act, which is very significant because this is, I think, first time they have court has asked an application which is prior to 2015 to go and grant a mining lease. And also Supreme Court, while making this judgment, had made few observations pertaining to the saving clauses for such applications, such as 10A2. I mean, as you all know, all our applications like Ganajur and Hatti, they are all under 10A2. So if you put both the things together, the observations made by Supreme Court on the saving clauses and also the way they have asked to grant a mining or directed the government to grant a mining lease for a pre-2015 application, I think that these things are very significant and important factors which might help. I mean, I'm not going to be overly optimistic, but now I see that there is a clear shift in the courts also. So let's hope for the best. And our legal counsel is examining as how to use the same with regard to our writ petitions in Ganajur and Hatti. So in October, we will have once the Indosil's how the Indosil case is going to progress, based on which many things are, we'll have a clear idea at least next month. And in the meantime, from the management side, we are in touch with the state government. We are explaining things to them again. So hopefully the two-pronged strategy, one is through court and one is through the bureaucracy and the government here, should help us to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So that's the hope I have. So next year, from next month onwards, we will be working on it, and obviously shareholders will be updated as and when we have some information. So that's about all the projects, the developments, what we are going to do. So in my view, the 2024, having said that, 2023 is a great year for us. We have whatever we set to achieve, we have achieved. And we are making a strong, steady progress, and we have built the portfolio, and that portfolio should sustain us for the next 6-7 years. And as I have always been telling, an exploration and mining company should have a number of projects, that is advanced projects which are going to be mines, and the next comes the project which is in the advanced stage, which may become mine in the next 3-4 years, and then you have greenfield projects which will sustain the pace of development beyond 5-6 years. So that is the strategy with which the management has worked to build the portfolio. I think we have been significantly successful in building the portfolio. Now what we look forward in 2024, I believe that it will be a monumental year for us, and Deccan would become a gold producer. That I think is I am very confident of it. And full-scale gold production would start from January and all Tintor gold projects. And we will also build strong resource base in the Kelawala gold project. And simultaneously, we will delineate drill targets in Bhadapona nickel PG project and Tanzanian gold project. And of course, consultancy will set to grow with a dedicated team and possibly will bring many projects onto the table by 2024 end. So with all this, of course, the development of Ganajur project subject to the grant of license, which will be a dream for all of us. Let us hope all these dreams come through. And from the management, from the team that we have, I am very confident in 2024, we will see a Deccan as a global resource company. That is the dream that we have. We will grow this company to that. And next year would be a significant next step for us. And I hope all the best for the next year. And to achieve all this, obviously, we need some money. The plans that we have next one. This is the plan we have. We plan to raise around 150 crores. And as you know, we have raised about 100 crores as in this year. and an additional 150 crores we are going to raise, and we are in talks with few individuals and also few fund houses in India and overseas. Now, again, shareholders will be updated once we have some information. So this is how we are going to spend the money. Money is distributed to all the projects like Jonagiri. Hopefully we'll get to the 49%. As of today, we are 40%. We'll get to 49% by spending under 6 million. Argentor, to build the processing plant, we need that kind of money. And the Kelawala gold mine drilling and increase the resource base about 1.2 million or 10 crores. Similarly, in Badukona, Jamnaði, and Tanzania, we need that kind of money, plus DGML's working capital. So the total of about 150 crores, that's what we are looking at. Hopefully, we'll be able to excite some of the investors with whatever that we have done in 2023 and what is going to happen in 2024. So with all that, I once again thank all the shareholders for the support. As many of you are constantly supporting us and bringing and giving advices. I'm very, very thankful to all of you. And let us hope that we will build a global commodity, global mining house beyond 2024. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Anuma. I wish that the 2024 goals what you have set for the shareholders, we will be able to achieve it. And now we shall open the floor for taking questions from shareholders. I request the Company Secretary to provide some brief points to the shareholders in this regard.
Thank you, shareholders, for taking time and joining our 39th AGM today. Before we go live with the session, we have some points to note for your convenience. Kindly turn on your video when you are projected on the broadcast screen and unmute yourself and proceed to ask your questions or express your views. Please mention your name and the location from where you are joining. Once you have asked your questions, you can log off and continue to watch the proceedings. Each shareholder will have 2 minutes for their questions in the interest of time and avoid repetition and to enable smooth flow of questions. The board will respond after all the questions have been taken. Now, over to the moderator.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite our first speaker for the event, Mr. Vinay Bhide. Sir, kindly enable your video and you may speak now.
Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Fine, fine. Let me stay with the audio. I'll start. Chairman Mr. Sundaram, Managing Director Mr. Hanumana Prasad, Mr. Subramaniam, Executive Director, company executives, fellow shareholders. My name is Vinay Bhide. I'm a long-term shareholder and supporter, and I'm speaking from Mumbai. At the outset, Mr. Hanumana Prasad, thanks, for all the detailed presentation that you have made in text as well as, the video form. I've, heard through it, start to finish. I'm very pleased about, the method of the presentation as well as the details that you have given. Now, from my experience of, not simple, but my way of, looking at things, I have a few questions, and I do not know, whether they are valid, but you could probably be the best people to respond as to whether my questions and my doubts are valid or not. And let me start, with the listing that I've made from your presentation. The first question I will start, with the Balukona, project. In Balukona, you have mentioned, three metals, which I have listed out here: nickel, platinum, copper, and palladium. In fact, 4 will be there. Now, out of that, I have got something to say, on the nickel part. We all know, the importance of, nickel. So when we are, projecting, for the nickel production from this particular mine, or maybe, from some other mines also, I do not know. We will have to keep, the EV battery, requirements in mind, and accordingly, plan for the nickel production. That is what I'm going to say, particularly, for India. That is one. Now I have, fairly good idea of, the end users of, nickel, copper, as well as platinum. But for palladium, you could probably fill me in, what are the end user segments for palladium. So that is as far as, the Balukona mine. And, on the Balukona presentation, I had, one thing, because I'm not a man of, the field of, or the specialized field. Will you please tell us, what is the full form of PGE, capital PGE? That is one. And let me move, to the Alton gold mine. Now, for the Alton gold mine, Or let me get back to Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan, you have I've seen all the presentation details. Let me share one important input. On of I do not know whether it is relevant for Kyrgyzstan, but I have seen in certain project related companies in the yesteryears where people have taken up business of supplies and projects in countries which are not necessarily policy as well as politically stable. I do not know, whether this is relevant in the case of Kyrgyzstan, but please keep this in mind not only for Kyrgyzstan but for other projects also. I can give you, names of these if you call me up, but I will not, I give it as a part of this particular question session. Then for the alternate gold mine, of course, I have no queries. And for a Junagiri mine, yes, I have seen the presentation. We're glad to know that you're planning something like about 750 kg to be produced at the end of this financial year. We're happy about that. For Jonagiri mine and from the pictures that I've seen, I presume that the compound walls that you have put up there, the slabs that you have put up, they would be temporary in nature. And considering both the value as well as the importance of the mineral that we are mining, I suppose you will put up proper fencing as well as security in this particular location from the security point of view. So that I think will cover most of the key points that I had. Other things you have covered. I thank you for the presentation. I've got one request to make to you, particularly because I'm a supporter and long-term shareholder. I have tried to use our shall I say the AGM network that we have put up to get into contact with our company secretary, Mr. Subramaniam, because I happen to represent one of the leading brand names of this country for IT as well as digital services. I suppose you must be having adequate use of these digital as well as IT services as a part of the business like other business companies. I request Mr. Subramaniam to post his contact number on the chat box, or if he feels it is proper, he can get my contact details are already there as a part of the AGM application. You please get in contact with me on call or on mail. I should be pleased to share these details of IT as well as digital, which will help improving both the optimization and efficiency of our business. I will not take much of common time. I suppose there may be a few other speakers after me. I thank you, for the presentation. I wish the company and the employees and directors all the best. Thank you for giving the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker for the event is Mr. Raghunathan. Sir, kindly enable your video and you may speak now. Hello, sir. Raghunathan, sir, you are not audible. I think Mr. Raghunathan is facing some technical issue. So I request our next speaker for the event, Mr. Rao Saib S. Patil. Sir, kindly enable your video and you may speak now.
Hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
First of all, myself, Aris Patil from Kolhapur. I would like to congratulate Team Deccan, especially Hanumanji for his relentless efforts in bringing the assets and fundraising also. Now, I want to just ask a few questions with regards to the recent judgment, Supreme Court judgment. What steps will be taken for the Hatti? As of now, we are only filed a case for Ganajur. Since we have a judgment long back in 2018, positive judgment in our favor, but still the but still nothing has been done from the government side. Secondly, the company should approach the mutual funds and the life insurance companies, and they should give the presentations to these mutual funds and life insurances. Thirdly, last AGM, the management had said that they will be going for some silver mine. They will be bidding some silver mine, and I want to know the status of the same.
Fine, thank you. I will respond.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. You're not audible.
No, I'm audible, but these are the only few questions that I
Okay.
have.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker for the event is Mr. Devendra Gupta. Sir, kindly enable your video and you may speak now.
Yeah, good afternoon. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
You're audible.
Okay, good afternoon to everybody. Thanks for this opportunity for speaking at this forum. I really appreciate that. So, my main intention of speaking is to, convey on a public forum my heartfelt thanks, gratitude to the promoters for bringing this company to where it is today. I think when we entered the company 22 years ago and subscribed to right issue in 2015, and when we had to sell shares below the right issue price, it was a nightmare for shareholders. But I remember the day when I sold below the right issue price, I got a call from Charles and he says, "Don't worry, everything is not lost and we will set right the things." So I think Hanuma has been a new dawn in setting right the things. I think we had all along been looking for production for Ganajur. When I first visited Ganajur, all the 7 sites in 2007, we were looking for that production. Anyway, that we hope will happen soon. But I'm again thankful the management and promoters for giving me the opportunity to visit the Jonagiri plant. And it was, I think, one of the most satisfying moments of not as an investor, but also as a professional banker of 40 years. The kind of development I saw, the passion in the eyes of the especially geologist, Manas, the plant manager, and it's a kind of feeling I've seen with 3 or 4 startups, I feel. So I think we are in very, very safe hands. So thanks to the promoters, management, Hanuman, everybody for the great work you are doing at the plant. I have gone there with a list of 20 risks, but by the time I left, I had only 2 risks, which I will talk now. So all the risks, like what will happen with when a visit is happening from IBM or from pollution control department during the pilot plant, I think the team has undergone through all those series of checks and balances couple of times. So that gives the confidence that the plant will run smoothly whenever the whole thing starts. So Hanuma, the 2 risks which we have often talked upon is, one is I am still slightly skeptical about the cyanide treatment plant as and when it comes. So I will like to visit once again that. And second risk which I still see is of the bank finance happening in time for the production to roll out. So, you talked today about Deccan being a global company, it's like music to my ears, because that is what, I heard Charles say when I met him first time in 2007 in Bangalore. He talked about that, how Deccan will distribute dividends through gold. And what impressed me during that time was, the kind of CSR work the company was doing. Charles has employed Tushar Gandhi for doing the CSR work. Employees of the company were selling their ESOPs of AIR in Australia and bringing money to do the development of the villages when there was no visibility of any cash flow. So, that is what gave the confidence to stay with the company through these 22 years and go through the pain, which I think was unbearable at times. Feel sorry for many shareholders who exited, who couldn't keep the faith. So once again, thanks to everybody. One very sad moment apart from what is happening is the promoters were chucked out from the board through connivance of that time management and some of the board members. So I think it is high time that situation need to be set right. So that is my second request apart from the risk part, that somebody from the promoter group should be on the board now when Charles' vision of making a global gold company is being played out. Uh, Other thing is, you have written to me in detail about the queries I had on Kyrgyzstan. I hope, like all your commitment, that will happen. But after visiting the websites of these uh, companies and that country and translating into English, I see quite a few risks there in Kyrgyzstan. So it seems to be a potentially good project. So I will kindly request you to please address what are the risks you see as the promoter group person there, and if you could kindly detail it. And at some stage, I would like to visit Kyrgyzstan the way I visited Jonagiri at my own cost. So would love to do that. There are few running issues which I have been having with you for a few years, and I will just reiterate them. One is, gold being such a volatile commodity, I want to know what hedging policy you are going to have in Deccan, because Deccan is still a kind of, holding an investment. So, or in Geomyso, so that we as shareholders are not exposed to the volatility when finally the production comes. And the biggest worry for me, which still remains despite all the positive developments, is that we are minority shareholders in Deccan, and Deccan is a minority shareholder in Geomysore. So I would like you to please tell in detail to all the shareholders how are our interests protected uh, by the management or your shareholder agreements, so that we don't have any unpleasant event to face in future the way we had it in previously. And lastly, I would like to know something about the dividend policy. It's very important for you to have a dividend policy and clearly that are you going to declare dividend by way of cash or by way of gold. And it's also important for you to, have a dividend policy to attract new investors, especially like an earlier speaker talked about, if you are going to start talking to mutual funds and pension funds, so they might not invest right now, but if the discussion is initiated, I am sure they will have a role to play in this company in future. With your vision, you will constantly be raising the capital. So Hanuma, once again, personal heartfelt thanks to you and the team. We have had a lot of arguments over years. We have fought, and I even once asked you to put in your resignation when we were not agreeing, because in March 2022 it was once again looking as if everything would be lost. But once again, you have been like that beacon. Oh, Hindi mein somebody knows the previous thing was like a panoti, where nothing good used to happen. But I think you have personally transformed, and appreciate your achievements and contributions. I know personally at the time of at the sake of your own health, I wish you all the best, and I also wish you all the best that you stay healthy and take care of your health while you're taking care of the company. Thank you. God bless all of you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Raghunathan was facing some connectivity error earlier. He is currently present in the panel. Chairman, sir, with your permission, can we allow Mr. Raghunathan to speak?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Mr. Raghunathan, you're currently in the panel. Kindly enable your video and you may speak now.
Company, and Thanks for giving me an opportunity to share my concern on certain recommendations made by the board. At the instance of that, earlier speaker also spoke about the risk management of the company, which is not very explicitly mentioned anywhere in the project wise what are all the risks involved which need to be addressed properly. Second is with regard to the on what basis and the reason for recommending the 300% of increase in remuneration of MD at one go when no dividend was paid to the shareholders in the last 22 years, which is a serious concern because this is totally based on my past experience. In the past, ex-MD was Sandeep Lakhara was given a remuneration of 7 lakh rupees along with a huge ESOP, and his performances was below par and his delivery was nil. In the meantime, he was also encashing the ESOP. So what I personally feel is any reward to be considered on achievement of a certain milestone, for which I would like to suggest certain things. If a remuneration committee of directors felt it is absolutely necessary to increase the remuneration of the MD, then may consider setting a target to be achieved or the expectations of the company to be achieved. Without any target or the expectations, we cannot make anybody accountable and responsible for it. It can be considered also instead of giving a one go increase of 300%, it can go on a stage basis on a performance linked basis, and also over a period of time it can be given. By it can also be bifurcated into the fixed and variable components, wherein everybody, even the MD will have a more motivation to work towards the target to achieve the variable component also. This is what is my main concern. Finally, I request the company to release a newsletter on every project progress is being made on a yearly basis. Most of the time we wait for the updation of in the system or on the board meetings only we come to know about it. So we need to be appraised because we are all maybe a minor shareholder. However, we have been a shareholder with the company for a long time without any incentive. So now of late, yes, we are seeing some movement in the share price of the company, but 22 years is a too long period for any company to wait for it. So it has to be more transparent to give all the people apprised about what is happening in the company. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All other speaker shareholders registered for the meeting are currently not in the panel, so we can move ahead with the agenda. I now hand over the proceedings to the management team. Over to you, sir.
Thank you all. Thank you participants. Thank you shareholders. Please note that we are always happy to answer questions. Yeah. Before that, I hand over to Hanuma, which he would like to address some of the questions being raised. Now he will address.
Thank you very much for all the queries. I would like to respond. There are many. I will start from Mr. Vinay Bide's comment on the nickel and PGE. So the expansion of PGE is a platinum group of elements. So that includes platinum, palladium, rhodium, iridium, and one more. So that is what we search in these kind of deposits. I just would like to add, as far as the nickel is concerned, nickel generally occurs at depth, and what you get on the surface is a very kind of indication. And many projects where you get 0.01 point, less than 0.1% nickel on the surface would eventually end up more than 1% of nickel, which is a mineable commodity at depth. And we also need to understand the project is not in the completely mining stage. The amount of exploration is required in this project, but the association of nickel, copper, platinum is a very, and the kind of numbers that we see like 1 gram per ton of palladium, 0.3, 0.4 grams of platinum, and then there is a copper of close to 0.5% in these rocks and 0.16% of copper, nickel, all put together, that will be an exceptionally good target for the further exploration. And we are very confident of this project to get into commercial operations, but of course, subject to the risks of exploration. So I think we are very bullish on this project. Both nickel and platinum are going to be used for battery. So I think that is something we, as I said during my presentation, it's a very key project for us going forward. So the second query was on the political stability of some of these countries where we are going. Yes, I agree. The kind of political risk will be there. Each country has its own risk, and which country doesn't have. Maybe if you go to the top 4 or 5 jurisdictions like Finland or say Canada, and these are the places where the risks are very, very limited. But every other country, including India, I must say, have those kind of risks. And to mitigate those risks, in particularly in Kyrgyzstan, because this is the first time we are going out, probably putting more money into this. Our partner, that Dubai-based company, is advisor to the government. That is one support system that we have. And also the project, we are tied hands with the public sector unit in Kyrgyzstan. Not we are going as an individual capacity. So I think these two significantly mitigate the risk factor. But I do agree, there are risks in any country that you go. We are continuously trying to take the steps to mitigate the risks. And in terms of the third point that he has raised is the compound or security, compound wall and the security. In any gold project, we need to understand the actual gold final output comes in a very small gold room, which has its own security system. It has nothing to do with any of these compound walls, because that gold room is very sophisticated and it's completely secure zone. And in the gold project, till you actually the material reaches to that gold room, you will not be able to even see the gold, because the concentrations are like 1 gram in a ton of rock, and it goes through the different crushers, milling, concentrators, etc. etc. It is the final material which is high secure zone within the premises. That is where you need to be very strong. And the gold room has its own specifications, and the gold room will be built based on those specifications. And obviously, sufficient security will be used to maintain the kind of that particular gold room. So please be assured of it, that there won't be any stealing of the material from the site. I do agree that your concern is a genuine concern, but there are systems in place. And in terms of IT services, yes, we will be, and we have our own IT cell here, which has been doing. And for your understanding, the gold mining, exploration and mining would require a lot of sophisticated softwares like SATPAC, data mine, and 3D models, 3D viewer softwares, processing softwares, and even for the geophysics, we use a lot of those kind of softwares that we have been using. So our IT cell is doing whatever that is required. But having said that, we will get in touch with you. Subramaniam will get in touch with you to discuss about any possibility of doing the IT upgradation with you. So these are the responses to the queries that Mr. Vinay Bide has made. And then coming to the queries made by Rao Sahib. See, in terms of Hatti, you please understand that judgment which has come in 2011, Hatti came in 2004. So that judgment was for the grant of prospecting license. Because if you remember, that case was, we were fighting against the state government, which has recommended Hatti's applications as against our applications, which we had the right. So at that time, Supreme Court has given a verdict saying that Deccan's applications have to be considered for the processing subject to the applicable mining law. So I think that is the judgment they have given. So it is not grant of mining lease, and that I wanted to clarify. And the second thing is, now, we have filed a writ petition on for Hatti also. It is when I say, when I think in my presentation also I have shown that we have writ petitions for both, Ganajur and Hatti. So they both will be going parallelly, and we are in both the cases, the ruling is that, yeah. Where, I mean, as Subramanian tells me, we are waiting for the individual's hearing, which is on 17th, 23rd. 17th. And the third one is about the silver one. Yes, this is again, we are joining hands with another company which are going to use our services as management consultants. And as against that, they will also give a small equity with an option to acquire a larger stake. This is the lead silver mine that is in the state of Andhra Pradesh, which was to come to an auction. So the other party, that is, it's called Yogasai company, and Deccan, we made a joint venture. That company has been established. We are waiting for the bid documents or the bid announcements to be made by the State Department. They have actually made an announcement, we applied for it, but then they have found some small loophole within the application. So they withdrew the bid applications, and they are going to put another application very soon. Once that is done, we will place our bids for that mine. I think in a month or so that should happen. So these are the comments, responses to Mr. Rao's Patil's queries. And the other one, the last one is with Mr. Devendra Gupta. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have you on our side. Yes, we did argue, we fight. I think that is part of the whole business. And it's always you are giving the constructive solutions to us. And once again, I thank you for that. In terms of yes, I have noted down all the points. I would like to respond to a few of them. In terms of CSR work, yes, we are continue to do it. In fact, yesterday also I was in schools in both Jonagiri and Pagadrai village, and we promised them to give more drinking water and books, etc., etc. And also new roads have been built by us, and computer centers are going to be opened within a month. So we see these are two things. One is, as a company, we want to do something to the society. I think we are in a position to do it because mines are found in a backward, not cities, but in the small places where if you can provide the employment, that itself is a big opportunity. Today I see, yesterday when I went there, there are about 120 people already employed, and another 40 is going to come into the employment this month, and that is October. So that is a big impact on the local community, apart from our CSR schemes. And so we will continue to do it. That is the motto, that is a driver for us. And also, without the social license, I am 100% sure these things will not work. And in terms of bank finance, as we discussed, as I said, Triveni being the major shareholder of Geo Mysore, they are at it, and now I think it is they are going to close it very soon. The current funding that both Triveni and Deccan, Triveni put in about 42 crores, Deccan has put in about 28 crores. This will take us to at least halfway through of this construction of the plant and these things, and by then the funding will be arranged by Triveni, and they have promised to do it very soon. They are talking to multiple banks, and obviously they are going to clutch their assets, and Prabhakaran is part of the assets as well. So that is what it is. And in terms of promoter on the board, yes, we will have a discussion. We will come back on that. And the risks on the Kyrgyzstan project, as I said, yes, there are risks. There are no doubt about it. The biggest risk that I see is the climate and other, apart from the political risk. full-tail risk is mitigated because we are closely working with the public sector unit. So it is not as an individual company we are exposed. So that is where I think risk is significantly mitigated. The other ones are operational risks, right? Because in the winter, the temperatures go to -30, -40 on the top of the hill. The people do work and there nothing stops. They're actually 24 hours, three shifts people they work there and sufficiently heated facilities are available there. And the only issue at the previously had the water gets frozen there. And so in the winter time, there never used to be water to run the processing plant. But in the last year, the water pipeline has been put. I think in my presentation, I've shown a slide with the water pipeline, which is submerged, which is has to be below the ground. That has been set up. So once water is available, rest of the things become easy there. And from March next year onwards, we will start constructing the leaching plant. Yes, risks are there. Again, I reiterate, and we are trying to mitigate those risks. And visit to Kyrgyzstan, yes, I think after next March, yeah, welcome to come. And one of our partners that invited you, the Dubai-based one, they have their own chartered flights. I mean, they ferry for the students from Delhi to Bishkek, the hardly 2.5 hours flight journey. I think after March, when the temperatures are moderate, you can always come. It's a pleasure to have you there. And in terms of dividend policy of the company, let me come back because offhand I will not be able to say whether we pay it through gold or this one because I think it will be a gold payments. I do not know legally how it is possible, but we are going to have a clear policy and we'll come back to you with that policy. And if necessary, we'll take inputs from you as well. And the last, in terms of Mr. Raghunan, his comments. Yeah, project-wise risks. I think that's a very valid point. We will have regular updates or the annual releases, whatever that he has suggested. We have taken note of it, and we will certainly do it. So the last but not the least, I think he has certain observations and objections to the remuneration that has been given to me in particular. I would like to respond to it. See, when I actually came in I don't want to put what are the situation, what were the things before I came in. But when I came in, the remuneration of MD was X amount. So I agreed to take half of it to start. And within a month, I have realized that that remuneration is also not good unless I achieve something. If you remember, in the first AGM, I clearly said that unless we achieve something, I am not going to take any remuneration. And in fact, I have reduced my that particular remuneration. It was 7 lakhs in Sandeep, and then it has come down. I agreed to join at 3.5, and I further reduced it to 1.5. And I have not taken a single paisa from that day. That means since 2021, when I joined in the month of October. Since then, I have not taken any money from that point in time, with the sole aim that unless I achieve something in this company, I should not. So I have the targets, and when I came in, I must say there was only one project which was also in the legal battles. But today, after 2 years, you can see the appreciation growth in the company and also number of projects that come in. I mean, I think there is a significant growth that itself shows the targets. It doesn't mean that I only have achieved it. It's the entire team that have worked. But in particular, my remuneration, which was, I mean, it was, I reduced it to less than 2 on 1.5 lakhs. And then never taken a single paisa in the last 2 years. So I thought it is perfectly justified to increase my remuneration and put it at a point. So committee also considered all these things and the developments that have happened. I mean, it will, I just say that when I came in, the share price was 90 rupees and today is 90 rupees. At that time, the market cap was 200 crores and today it's 1500 crores, or more than 1000 crores. So I think I have achieved what I said to achieve. So that's all what I can say. I will let our chairman add.
Yeah, I would like to add to the shareholder that the management is the recommendation of NBS came up from the discussion of the nomination committee. We have, in fact, tested the various parameters what was discussed in sometime in 2021 AGM, I remember that. And then all was taken out, and what was there and what is now was discussed in detail. And the committee was of the view that what are the multiple growths and multiple projects that's been taken up in terms of investment as well as raising of resources. All those factors have been considered, and there was a kind of a market feedback also with the time to say where we can fit Dr. Hanuman Prasad's remuneration, because we need to consider his qualification, we need to consider his experience. In addition to these two factors, what he has brought into the company since October 2020 as taking over as the managing director of the company. And the committee, as well as subsequently the board, is also the view that it is pretty reasonable. And then we have also set targets how to go about it for the next 2 to 3 years, based on which any further review of those remunerations to be considered or not. So we can, as chairman of the company, I can rest assured that the remuneration of these factors have been thoroughly examined, and independently the committee has discussed the pros and cons and what has been done, what has not been done, and where we have to do, what is the milestone we have achieved. All those factors have been considered. Accordingly, the remuneration has been recommended for shareholders. Yeah. Thank you, Anumaji, for having the detailed presentation as well as the queries that what has been raised by the shareholders. Wherever you feel that is left out, I ask the secretary to give the appropriate response. Please know that we are always happy to answer the questions that you may still have, and we welcome you to email or queries to the company secretary, and we can respond promptly as always. With this, the 39th annual general meeting of the company comes to an end. I thank each and everyone, stakeholders, shareholders, and all being supportive of this company's achievement which has been done so far. And we continue to seek your good wishes and the support in the years to come. Thank you.
Over to the moderator.